Stop number 3 on this 5-game road trip for the Golden State Warriors lands them in Charlotte, North Carolina, where they'll take on the Hornets at the Spectrum Center. Taking on a Hornets team that has lost 9 of their last 10 games and currently on a 6-game losing streak. But the Warriors are trying to bounce back from Saturday night's loss to the Philadelphia 76ers, in which they missed 14 layups and couldn't make all the plays down the stretch. But we'll talk about how the Warriors can get right tonight against the Hornets here on Warriors Pregame Live, presented by Comcast Business with the Hall of Famer Chris Mullin, an NBA champion, Festus Ezeli. I am Bonta Hill. And Mully, in the Webster Dictionary, I guess this is a definition of a get-right game for the Golden State Warriors.
Absolutely. Get back on track, Bonnie. Get back to stacking wins, a weak and rebuilding Charlotte Hornets team. Get your work done early because you got a back-to-back tomorrow in the world's most famous arena.
No doubt about that. The Warriors just blew away the Hornets last week at Chase Center, but Stephen Curry is back home, and Fezzy Fell, he's had some memorable moments inside of that building.
Well, Steph has already been cooking, Bonta. He just had a career high in points this season, and a season high in points, career high in assists. And now he's home with 35 people there to watch him playing against his brother, his dad in the stands. Let's go, Bonta. It's a get-right game, like you said.
35 plus another 18,000 because you know Steph Curry fans are all around the building. And look at Jimmy Buckets. He's in the building. Will he or will he not play? We'll reveal the injury report on the other side. Here in this 5-game road trip, and they begin their 11th set of a back-to-back. They're 6-4 in the first game of back-to-backs this season. They'll look to get right against the Charlotte Hornets, a team they beat last Monday night at Chase Center pretty handily as it was an ice and chill game. But let's take a look before the injury report right now. Let's take a look at that. And Jimmy Butler, Quentin Post, they're both probable. Jonathan Kuminga remains out with the ankle injury. But here's what Steve Kerr had to say on the status of his veteran earlier today.
Well, Steph's in a great place right now. You know, his knees are doing much better than they were a couple months ago. So that's a great sign. Draymond seems to be in a good place. Obviously with Jimmy the other night missing the game, you know, who knows? We'll see how he comes out of tonight. And every game's different. You just don't know. So I don't want to make any predictions for tomorrow, but, I can tell you we got nothing planned. You know, we want everybody playing and going, and, you know, there's an urgency to everything we're doing, and we're at a point in the season now where we feel like we've gotten through some difficult stretches with some of those guys, you know, on an individual basis. So hopefully they'll stay healthy and we'll be able to play every night.
All right, that's Steve Kerr there, as there's no plans for tomorrow on who will sit, who will not sit in the back-to-back, the back end of a back-to-back tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden against the New York Knicks. But let's start with Jimmy Butler, who missed Saturday's game with back spasms. And this is a game tonight where I remember talking to you last week, Mully, about this game, and you say, look, just handle your business, try not to get hurt, and move on to the next against a team that only has 14 wins this season. So let's start with Jimmy Butler, what he's dealing with back spasms, how that may impact him moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's obviously a day-to-day thing with Jimmy Butler. Steve Kerr, I think, it was very positive from what I heard, saying there's no scheduled days off. So as long as they get through this game tonight, everyone should be available tomorrow in New York. Then they have a day off, then they play Brooklyn. But Jimmy Butler, obviously, since he's arrived, has changed his team drastically. This is by far a different team since he's gotten here. We saw last game a lot of scattered offensive play in the half court, actually in the full court as well, without him settling them down, organizing them in the half court, creating wide open looks for his teammates. So that was missed last game. With Jimmy Butler playing tonight, that should all be back in place. You should see the points off turnovers, that those stats go the Warriors' way, getting to the free throw line. But most importantly, Festus, I think organizing them in the half court. You know, what's such a threat he is in the mid post. Mm-hmm. When he faces the basket, he's going to get to the paint, score, draw a foul, or create open look for his teammate.
Well, the good news about last game is Steph is healthy. You saw that. You saw him get a dunk last game, Bonta and Mully. It's really incredible for the Warriors to have Steph that healthy, playing that well at this point of the season. You want to keep that going. Jimmy Butler right now he played the game before. He kind of looked a little hobbled. So the Warriors give him a day off. And if he's back tonight, you get that, you get to correct the non-Steph minutes. When Steph is on the floor, you saw them holding the ball, kind of looking for Steph again. It kind of reverted to the pre-Jimmy Butler era of offense for the Warriors. And that's not how the Warriors are successful. You got to move the ball. The bench has to also be aggressive. Brandon Pajemski, Moses Moody, Quentin Post, all these guys together make for a really dangerous Warriors offense. So tonight when you're going against Charlotte, you're going to go against a big man in Mark Williams. So you got to make sure you attack wisely, make sure you get to the rim, and then kick out to guys because there's going to be rim protection on the back end.
And also Draymond Green's status. We've heard nothing about the back injury recently, and we've heard nothing about the calf injury. Had a rough first half against Philadelphia, but in the second half picked it up with 13 points there. Obviously missed some layups. They'll like to get back, but Draymond Green not being on the injury report also is good news for the Warriors moving forward.
Absolutely. I think for the Warriors in general, right now, it's really about their depth and playing that well as they are. It's about getting chemistry, getting Jimmy Butler in the lineup. If he's in or out of the lineup, it throws the rotation off. You saw last game, the non-Steph Curry minutes. The team really suffered in those minutes. So having Jimmy Butler, it settles the team down. They have some swagger. Draymond Green is playing a huge factor because offensively, defensively, him with Jimmy Butler, they've been a really amazing duo for the Warriors. You're going against a big Charlotte Hornets team tonight, so you need both those guys playing in the paint and really dominating there. But for the Warriors to work, they got to go inside to out. That's Draymond and Jimmy Butler on the inside. Really, Jimmy Butler scoring on the inside, Draymond on the defensive end on the inside, and Steph Curry on the outside.
Yeah, from Steve Kerr's comments, sounds like everybody's healthy, and now it's about how you get through these games on a daily basis. In a game like tonight, this is a game dangerous only if you turn the ball over, live ball turnovers, and there's a big discrepancy in the free throw line. Those are two things since Jimmy Butler has arrived, the Warriors have dominated. They dominated those stats.
Well, let's check out the splits here with Jimmy Butler and without Jimmy Butler. Of course, the Warriors are 72 now, but Jimmy didn't play last Saturday. You see last game, minus 19 in a non-Steph Curry minutes that flipped the game late in the first quarter when the Warriors were leading 30-24. They scored 7 points during a 7-minute and 21-second stretch without Stephen Curry Saturday against the Philadelphia 76ers. The previous 8 games, a plus 31 in a non-Steph Curry minutes, and that's largely due to Jimmy Butler being in that lineup. But without him Saturday night, the Warriors struggled. Quentin Grimes went crazy for career-high 44 points. So putting attack defense, that suffered as well. As we connect, courtesy of Comcast Business, every connection counts with the great KB, Kerr Burke, and of course our Warriors insider here at NBC Sports Bay Area, the Hall of Famer,
Monty!
That's right, Monty Poole in the building here in KB. I know Monty Poole wrote an article the other day about Jimmy Butler, the impact he's had, and we saw why the Warriors traded for Jimmy Butler. It was on full display Saturday night in Philadelphia.
Well, those numbers are staggering, too. There's no doubt that Jimmy Butler has made a huge impact on this team, potentially turning the season around. And last night was the first night, or the previous game, rather, was the first time he appeared on the injury report. And just to look at it, the last time Jimmy Butler played 65 games in a regular season was that 2018-2019 season. So think the last time Steph Curry dunked. Okay? Jimmy Butler made the Warriors so much better, but he didn't make them any younger. That's interesting. So Monty, knowing how much of a role Jimmy Butler has played in some of the Warriors' W's, how much do wins going forward rely on Jimmy?
Yeah, a lot. You know, I know when the Warriors brought in Jimmy Butler and they extended him $121 million for 2 years, 35 years old. He's missed an average of 22 games the last 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. You're like, why are they giving him this money? Because he's becoming more injury prone. But then you saw the game the other night. You go, okay, sure. Now I kind of get it, you know. They were plus 12 without Steph Curry on the floor, with Steph Curry on the floor, minus 19 without him. That had been corrected with a healthy Jimmy. And then after the game, Steph Curry says, I can't play 48. And Steve Kerr says, I can't play him 40. You know, yeah. So they're trying to figure this out, but you couldn't find a harsher illustration of just how important Jimmy has become to the non-Steph guys. And Steve Kerr said he wants him out there for every non-Steph minute. He wasn't out there. You saw what happened. The game flipped.
Yeah, we saw it a little bit with Pods. We saw a little bit with Moody. We saw it a little bit with Buddy. So here you go, one player. And we've seen this with Steph, the way that one player can make everybody else out there better. Okay, now we got a snapshot of what it looks like without Jimmy Butler, and the Warriors don't like that picture.
No, it wasn't good.
No, it was not good. The Philadelphia Sixers snapped their 9-game losing streak Saturday against the Warriors, but it's all good. He's back in the lineup tonight for the Golden State Warriors. But up next, you know, the Oscars was yesterday. So Clippers and the Lakers last night, a little back-to-back between these two L.A. squads, and Luka and the Lakers are rolling. Look at that shot by Luka Doncic, 29 points, 9 assists last night. LeBron had it 17. Look at this full court pass. What was that, Jim Everett to Henry Ellard? Jim Everett, the Flipper Anderson? No, it's Luka and LeBron.
They get that once a night, it seems
Once a night. They're just like toying with the competition right now. Luka and one. You see Kawhi, he had a solid night last night. Season high 33 points in twice a night.
Once a half.
Once a half? Or are we going to get to once a quarter? I mean,
Luka's doing that now?
Oh, he is doing that. And the Clippers are
Connect Four
right now.
Connect Four, baby.
Connect Four. The best trade that never happened for the LA Lakers as we lock in on the wild, wild Western Conference. And let's take a look at the standings right now. The Warriors in 7th place right now in a good spot, tied with the LA Clippers. Although the Clippers do have the tiebreaker over the Dubs, they beat them all 3 matchups this season. But the Mavericks, a game behind the Golden State Warriors, they take on Sacramento tonight. A huge game down in Dallas, Texas. And you see the Minnesota Timberwolves, they rolled last night over the Phoenix Suns, who are free falling. Tom Petty's got nothing on them. They're 28-33 right now. So the Lakers are rolling. They're up in the 2 spot there. And tell us Lakers. I'm around too many Laker fans. 95-70 game, Joe Spadoni, who took over for me on the morning roast. He had his Kobe shirt on. I can't stand him. David Taylor's walking around here with his Lakers hat on. Can't stand him either because we get to play-by-play. But the Lakers, you can't hate on them. They're rolling right now. They're second in the West. They look like a legit title threat. But the Clippers, 4-6 in their last 10. What's going on with the Clip joint?
It's just hard. With the Clippers, they don't have any consistency. But it's crazy how much difference 2 weeks can make for the Lakers. They're really starting to gel. I love what LeBron did with Luka. As soon as he came in, he said, I don't want you to fit in. I want you to fit out. And that's not the way he said it. He said it differently.
A few other F's in there.
And, for Luka right now, I'm trying to be himself on this Lakers team. It's going to take a little while, but so far, him hitting those shots, him being a playmaker, all those things make them dangerous. But if LeBron is dunking like that, getting to the rim, and Luka is playmaking like that, it just makes that team so dangerous. Think about a Warriors offense where instead of Draymond, you have LeBron James, one of the best, the leading scorer in the history of the game, being the playmaker, but also being the scorer at the rim. It's that offense is going to be really dangerous as they go down the wire.
Yeah, you got 2 of the best offensive players of all time with Luka and LeBron on the same team, creating for their teammates, creating for themselves. What I've been impressed with is their team defense. Now, they don't have great individual defenders. Vanderbilt's good. They got a few guys that can lock up one-on-one defense. But their team strategy, I've been really impressed. They seem like they're approaching games and really changing their game plan. We've seen so many teams, go into each game and just kind of switch everything and kind of play through it. But I remember I watched the Denver game. They were really switching up their defensive coverages on Jokic. Seems like night to night, they're really doing a good job strategically changing their defense on a nightly basis, and I think that's really fueled their offense. I've always felt their offense they'll figure that out. With not having so many big plays, with losing Anthony Davis, I thought their defense would struggle. They've actually done a really good job defensively.
8-2 in their last 10. They've won 6 games in a row, and they are rolling right now, looking like a legit threat in the Western Conference. Clippers, they're sliding a little bit. But LaMelo Ball, he's going to be available tonight. He didn't play back on February 25th against the Warriors when the Hornets lost by 36 points. Remember, that was a stretch in which they lost 3 consecutive games by a combined 131 points. They made NBA history, Bully. Check the record books there. But here's what Steve Kerr had to say about game planning for LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, it changes everything. Just his ability to manipulate the pick and roll and shoot off the dribble, fadeaway threes. You don't expect them coming, and he's capable of getting really hot, and then that opens up the whole floor for everybody else. Always loved his ability to throw the ball ahead. And that's what jumps off the page, when you're watching him. Is just he gets it. He immediately looks ahead, and that's the toughest thing for a defense to have to do is guard in transition. So he understands the game at a really deep level, and fun player to watch.